run away.
Security police.
I'm in charge of this man.
No longer, madam. He is now in the custody of the Ministry of Science.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Welcome to Kermode Uncut, where we return once again to the subject of Planet of the Apes. A few months ago, I did a blog talking about Andy Serkis and the new Planet of the Apes trilogy and how I really wanted Andy Serkis to get a Best Actor nod for his performance as Caesar. It didn't happen. That doesn't surprise me because I don't think the industry is quite ready for that yet. But I was talking about the fact that people look back at the old Planet of the Apes movies and they like the first one, but they kind of dismiss the rest of the series. Now, hard as it may be to imagine, Planet of the Apes is 50 years old. It premiered in New York in February 1968 and it opened here in the UK in March 1968. So it's 50 years ago. Now, when Planet of the Apes first opened, I wasn't old enough to see it. In fact, the first Planet of the Apes movie that I saw was Escape from Planet of the Apes, the third one, at which point I was kind of old enough to go to the cinema and see those movies, and I fell in love with it. The next one I saw after that was Battle for the Planet of the Apes, the final installment, part 5. And then I had to go back and fill in the gaps to see the original Planet of the Apes and then to see Beneath the Planet of the Apes and Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, which were always put together on a double bill for which you had to be 14 to get in to see it. And I've said before that I have this theory that everything I know about politics comes from Planet of the Apes. That the first film is about vivisection, which is what Pierre Boulle's novel was about. That the second one is about nuclear war. That the third one is about celebrity. That the fourth one is about revolution. And the fifth one, to some extent, is about some possible resolution. Now, there was an article published by the BFI, by John Towson, which was headlined, "Why the Original Series Still Holds a Warning for Us All." And it reiterates many of those points. Also makes a very interesting observation about Escape from Planet of the Apes, saying that it had much to say about the then burgeoning second wave feminist movement. Zira emerges as a strong, intelligent, politicised female who puts the males around her to shame. And it's a really interesting point. I have to say it's not one that had occurred to me before, but it is a very well-made point. There was also a TV series in 1974, which I started watching because I was such a fan of the movies. And then there were things like this. Look, somebody sent me this. This is a comic strip of Escape from Planet of the Apes that in fact includes a Planet of the Apes single, a real collector's item. The question is, why is it that Planet of the Apes has continued to have the kind of appeal that it's had 50 years later? I mean, will Star Wars look that impressive 50 years on? I mean, you know, 2027, is it going to look as good as it did when it first came out? Planet of the Apes is all to do with physical effects, it's all to do with very simple makeup, and as we know, physical effects and simple makeup age much better than digital effects. They have a kind of timeless, classic quality. But the most important thing, as Charlton Heston apparently told 20th Century Fox when they were worried about the first film, he said, "This one's got a message," and he was right. And in fact, all 5 of them have a message. All 5 of them deal with some ongoing subject. I remember when all 5 came out on video for the first time, and me and a friend stayed up all night to watch all of them back to back, and we loved them. I think that to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Planet of the Apes movies, I'm going to do that all over again. Not simply because it brings back the child in me to be able to do it, but also because half a century later, they still work. They still stand up to scrutiny. They're still really good films.
That Bright Eyes is remarkable. He keeps trying to form words.
You know what they say, human seed, human do. Now what?